My hand was already on the doorknob. I was seconds away from opening my own front door, when I heard my daughter, my only child, whisper sharply, "Daniel, if we don't do it tonight, she might find out everything." Then her husband's deep voice replied, "Relax. We just have to follow the plan. She won't see it coming." My heart froze. My legs felt weak. And right there, outside my own house, I pressed my back against the wall, trying not to breathe too loudly. My daughter and her husband. Plotting something. Plotting something about me. I leaned closer, shaking, listening, praying I was wrong. Then I heard Daniel say something that made every hair on my skin stand up. "By tomorrow morning, she'll be out of the way." I covered my mouth to keep from gasping. Out of the way. What did that mean? Why were they talking about me like that? Before I could move, before I could think, I heard footsteps coming toward the door. And the knob began to turn. Before I continue this story, tell me in the comments, where are you watching from? I love seeing viewers from all around the world. To understand how I reached that moment, hiding outside my own house, terrified of my own daughter, we have to go back a few days. My name is Mrs. Evelyn Hart, a 58-year-old retired schoolteacher. My daughter, Leah, is 28. Her husband, Daniel, is 32. Everyone who knew us thought we were the perfect happy family. But they didn't know the truth. Not many people knew the hidden frustration in my daughter's marriage. The quiet arguments behind closed doors. Or the strange, secretive way Daniel always spoke to her. I noticed small things at first. Leah whispering on the phone and hanging up when I walked into the room. Daniel receiving late-night messages, then deleting them quickly. Their bedroom door locked more often, even during the day. Then, one afternoon, I walked into Leah's room while she was changing the bedsheets, and I saw a brown envelope on the floor. A thick one. When I picked it up, she snatched it from me so fast her face turned pale. "Mom," she shouted. "Don't touch my things." It shocked me because Leah had never shouted at me like that. Before I could ask what was inside the envelope, Daniel rushed into the room as if he had been listening from somewhere. He stood between us, staring at me in a way that made me very uncomfortable. "It's private," he said coldly. "Please respect our space." I opened my mouth to reply, but Leah quickly pulled Daniel out of the room, whispering urgently. Again, they locked the door. That was when the uneasy feeling began inside me. A feeling I couldn't shake off. Something wasn't right. My daughter wasn't acting like herself. And Daniel was becoming more controlling every day. I started paying more attention. Watching them carefully. Listening for any clue that would explain what was happening. But nothing prepared me for what I heard the night everything changed. It was a cool Tuesday evening. I had gone out to buy bread and some fruits from the shop down the street. The house was quiet when I left. No sign that anything strange was about to happen. But when I returned, I heard voices from inside. Leah's voice sounded nervous, almost scared. Daniel's voice sounded angry. I stopped right at the door, surprised. They rarely argued loudly. I leaned closer. "Daniel, I can't do this," Leah said in a shaky voice. "She's my mother. Do you think I don't know that?" Daniel snapped. We agreed. If she finds out what we're planning, everything is ruined. My breath caught. Planning? Planning what? I didn't move. I didn't dare. Daniel continued, calmer this time. "Listen, Leah. This is the only way. Just stick to the plan. Tomorrow morning, she'll be out of the way, and we can live our life without her interfering." My heart pounded so loudly I was sure they would hear it. Out of the way. Why would my own daughter want me out of the way? What were they hiding from me? I stepped back slowly, trying not to make any sound. But right then, I heard footsteps moving toward the front door. The knob began to turn. I panicked. Had they heard me? Were they coming out to check if I was there? I quickly moved away from the door and pressed myself into the shadows beside the wall. The door opened a little. Then stopped. Daniel's voice came out again, low and sharp. Don't worry. She doesn't suspect anything. Just act normal. The door shut again. I stood there in the darkness, trembling. My own daughter. My own son-in-law. Plotting something deadly. Something involving me. I didn't know whether to run. Or confront them. Or call someone. But I knew one thing. Nothing in my life would ever be the same again. And what I discovered next was even worse. What did they mean by, out of the way? What were they planning? And why was my daughter involved? Chapter 2 will start from this exact moment. The moment the door clicked shut again, I stayed frozen in the dark beside the wall. My mind was spinning in circles. What plan were they talking about? What were they hiding so badly that they spoke in whispers? And why did they act like I was some kind of danger to them, instead of their own mother? I didn't step inside the house immediately. Instead, I tiptoed around the back door, the one nobody ever used, and quietly let myself in. I walked slowly, listening carefully. The living room was empty. The lights were dim. The house felt too quiet, like the silence itself was hiding something. I stood in the center of the room, clutching the bag of bread and fruit, trying not to panic. A mystery, something secret and serious. Something they didn't want me to discover. But what? I tried to calm myself. Maybe I heard wrong. Maybe things weren't as bad as they sounded. But then I saw something that destroyed that tiny hope immediately. On the coffee table, half hidden under a newspaper, was that same brown envelope I had seen earlier in Leah's room. The thick one she snatched from me. The one Daniel protected like treasure. I stared at it for a long time. Why was it in the living room? Why wasn't it hidden away like before? Slowly, carefully, I picked it up. But before I could even touch the flap, I heard footsteps behind me. Mother? I spun around so fast the envelope almost fell from my hands. Leah was standing in the hallway, her eyes red as if she had been crying. She was holding a small towel in her hands, twisting it nervously. Why are you home so late?" she asked softly. I swallowed. Just needed some fresh air. She nodded, but I could tell she didn't believe me. Then her eyes dropped to the envelope in my hand. And she froze. Where did you get that?" she whispered. I opened my mouth to explain, but Daniel suddenly appeared behind her, tall and stiff, his face unreadable. His voice was calm, too calm. "I thought we asked you to respect our privacy." I placed the envelope back on the table. "Then stop leaving it everywhere," I said quietly. For a moment, no one spoke. The room felt like it was holding its breath. Finally, Leah stepped forward, took the envelope, and held it close to her chest. "It's nothing, Mom. Please don't worry." But the way her hands trembled. The way Daniel immediately grabbed her elbow to guide her away. It didn't feel like nothing. It felt like a secret so heavy it could crush all of us. As they walked toward the hallway, I heard Daniel whisper to her. "Don't say a word. Not yet." Not yet? What did that mean? I didn't sleep that night. I kept hearing bits of their voices. Footsteps moving. The sound of drawers opening and closing. At one point, I even heard Leah crying. My heart ached. What was happening to my daughter? Why did she sound so scared of something? And why did she keep looking at me with guilt in her eyes? Around midnight, I went downstairs to drink water, and that was when I saw something new. A key. A small silver key sitting on the kitchen counter. I had never seen it before. It didn't match any lock in the house. Not the front door. Not the back door. Not the filing cabinet. So what did it open? I reached for it. But footsteps came from the living room. Daniel again. He stood there in the dark, watching me. Not blinking. Not moving. Just watching. I didn't know you were awake, I said, trying to sound calm. His voice came out slow and careful. You're moving around a lot tonight. Is something bothering you? I forced a smile. Just thirsty. He stepped forward slightly. You didn't touch anything, did you? My stomach twisted. Did he see me holding the key? No, I lied. He stared at me for a few seconds longer, then nodded and walked away, leaving me alone with my fear. As he disappeared into the darkness, I looked down at my hand. I had managed to grab the key. I hid it quickly in my pocket. I didn't know what it opened. But something in my heart whispered. This key is important. It leads to the truth. The next morning, I woke up before everyone. I needed answers. I needed to find whatever that key opened. But before I could even start searching, something unexpected happened. From inside Leah and Daniel's room, I heard their voices again. This time, they weren't whispering. They were arguing. And I mean truly arguing. I pressed my ear gently against their door. I can't keep lying to her. Leah cried. You have to, Daniel insisted. If she finds out what we're protecting, everything will fall apart. Protecting? Not harming. Not attacking. Protecting. That one word changed everything. What were they trying to protect? And why did they think revealing it would ruin everything? I leaned closer. And then I heard Daniel say something that made my heart drop. The deadline is in 2 days. If she discovers the documents before then. A loud sound cut him off, maybe he knocked something over, and I quickly moved away from the door. Documents? Deadline? And this mysterious key? Whatever was happening. It wasn't small. It wasn't simple. And it definitely wasn't innocent. As I walked down the hallway, holding that silver key in my hand, one thought burned in my mind. Somewhere in this house, something was hidden. Something big. Something serious. Something they were desperate to keep away from me. I didn't know what the truth was yet. But I knew this. Before the deadline came, I had to find whatever that key unlocked. And when I finally discovered it, my entire world changed. I didn't wait until night to begin searching. The moment Leah and Daniel left the house, Daniel claiming he had urgent errands, and Leah following him reluctantly, I knew it was my only chance. The key felt warm in my pocket, almost like it had been waiting for my fingers. Waiting for the truth to be discovered. I took a deep breath and started searching the house slowly, carefully, room by room. Not for danger. But for answers. First, I checked the living room. No strange locks. No hidden compartments. Nothing. Then the kitchen. Same thing. Then the guest room. Nothing again. But when I reached the small storage room beside the laundry area, something felt wrong. The room had always looked messy, filled with old boxes and things we didn't use anymore. But now, the boxes were organized. Stacked neatly. Like someone had been using the room recently. And then I saw it. In the corner. Behind an old bookshelf. Was a small metal safe. My heart skipped. A safe? In my house? Who put it there? I walked toward it slowly, hands shaking. On the front of the safe, I saw a tiny silver keyhole. The same shape. The same size. As the key in my pocket. I knelt down, swallowed my nerves, and slid the key in. It fit perfectly. My fingers trembled as I turned it. Click. My heart was beating so loudly I thought the neighbors could hear it. I opened the safe slowly. And what I saw inside made my stomach twist into a knot. Inside the safe were stacks of papers. All neatly arranged. All labeled. But that wasn't the shocking part. The shocking part was the name written at the top of every single folder. Evelyn Hart. My name. I froze. Why did my daughter and her husband have a hidden safe full of documents about me? Were they spying on me? Collecting things? Trying to take something from me? My hands shook as I pulled out the first folder. Inside were copies of property papers. My house papers. Bank letters. Old tax records. Even medical forms from years ago. All the important things that belonged to me. But why were they hidden? And why in a secret safe? I reached for the second folder, and my breath caught in my throat. It wasn't papers this time. It was photographs. A whole stack of them. Pictures of me taken secretly. Coming out of the bank. Talking to a lawyer at a community meeting. Carrying files into my room. Even one of me sitting outside, reading. All from different days. All taken from a distance. This can't be right, I whispered. Why were they following me? Why were they documenting my every move? And then I saw the third folder. This one was sealed shut with tape. And written across the front, in Daniel's handwriting, were the words. Do not open until after the deadline. The same deadline he had mentioned that morning. My mouth went dry. What deadline? What was supposed to happen? Why was everything about me? I carefully peeled the tape off and opened the folder. Inside were only two things. A letter. And a thin blue notebook with my daughter's handwriting all over it. My heart thumped painfully. Why would Leah keep a secret notebook? About me? I reached for the letter first. It wasn't from Daniel. It wasn't from Leah. It was from a lawyer. Addressed to both of them. My hands shook as I read the first line. This is a reminder that Mrs. Evelyn Hart must not be informed of the inheritance process until all steps are complete. I stared at the words. Inheritance. Inheritance. What inheritance? And why was I not supposed to know? I flipped the page, my eyes scanning quickly. The letter explained that someone, unnamed, had left me something extremely valuable. Something big. Something life-changing. And Leah and Daniel had been handling the legal process secretly for months. That was why they were acting strange. Why they were whispering. Why they were hiding documents. Why they had a deadline. They weren't plotting against me. They were trying to protect something that belonged to me. But if that was true, why didn't they just tell me? Why all the secrecy? I grabbed the blue notebook. It had Leah's handwriting. Mom cannot know yet. Everything must be perfect first. If she finds out too early, she will panic. Panic? About what? I turned the page. And on the next line. My heart stopped. We must finish the surprise before 48 hours. She deserves to be happy again. Happy again? Surprise? What surprise? I felt my body go cold. All this time. All the whispering. All the tension. All the fear. What if I had been completely wrong? What if none of it was meant to hurt me? What if they were hiding something, for me, not against me? I closed the notebook, breathing heavily. I needed answers. Real ones. I needed to talk to Leah. I needed to see her face when I asked her the truth. What exactly were they planning? And why did it involve me? I stood up, ready to confront them. But then I heard the front door open. My blood ran cold. Leah's voice echoed through the house. Mom. Are you home? They were back. And I was standing beside the open safe. If they saw this, if they realized I knew, everything would explode. I tried to close the safe quietly, but my hand slipped. The metal door shut with a loud clang. Loud enough for them to hear. Footsteps rushed toward the hallway. Fast. Panicked. Getting closer. Mom. Leah shouted. What are you doing in there? I backed away from the safe, my heart screaming in my chest. In 3 seconds, they would reach the door. In 3 seconds, they would know I had opened everything. In 3 seconds. Everything would change. What will Leah say when she finds her mother with all those secret documents? What is the inheritance? What is the surprise? Why the deadline? Leah's footsteps came rushing down the hallway so fast that for a moment I thought she might fall. Daniel was right behind her. My heart hammered in my chest as I stepped away from the open safe, my hands shaking. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what they would say. But one thing was clear. There was no hiding anymore. The door swung open. Leah froze when she saw me. Her eyes went straight to the safe. Her mouth fell open. Mom, she whispered. You opened it. Daniel stepped inside too, his face tight, his jaw clenched, but not in anger. In fear. Not fear of me, but fear for me. I swallowed hard. I had to, I said quietly. I heard you two talking. I saw the documents. I found the photos. You made me think something terrible was happening. Leah covered her mouth with her hand. Her eyes filled with tears instantly. Oh no. Mom, no. You weren't supposed to find out like this. Her voice broke. Daniel placed a hand on her shoulder to steady her. I stared at both of them, my voice shaking. Please, tell me the truth. What is all this? What's going on? And what's this deadline you keep talking about? Leah took a deep breath and stepped toward me, her hands trembling. Mom, we weren't trying to hurt you. We were trying to help you. I didn't speak. I just stared at her, waiting. She took my hand. The inheritance, it's from Aunt Miriam. I blinked. Aunt Miriam. My older sister, the one who moved abroad 20 years ago. The one I hadn't spoken to in a long time because of a small misunderstanding that grew into silence. I whispered, she left something for me. Leah nodded. She passed away a few months ago, Mom. My breath caught. I felt a sting behind my eyes. She wanted everything she owned to come to you, Leah continued softly. But her lawyers said the process had to be handled very carefully. Everything had to be verified. Every signature. Every document. Every property. They said if you found out too early, it might stress you. Daniel stepped forward now, speaking gently. And we know you've been through a lot lately. We didn't want you to worry or panic. Your sister left you, a lot, Mrs. Hart. More than you can imagine. I felt lightheaded. Aunt Miriam had left me everything. Why? How? Leah looked down at the blue notebook. Mom, the deadline we were talking about, it's for the final approval. After that, everything becomes official. My hands shook. So the secret wasn't to hurt me? I whispered. It wasn't against me. No, Mom. Leah cried, stepping forward and hugging me tightly. We were planning something beautiful. A surprise. A celebration. We wanted to restore your relationship with Aunt Miriam in a special way, even though she's gone. My chest tightened. And then Daniel added. The photos weren't spying. We needed them for the lawyers, for identification, confirmation, proof that you were here and safe. Leah looked up at me, tears streaming down her cheeks. We only hid things because we wanted everything to be perfect before telling you. But instead, we made you scared. I felt my throat close up. All the fear I had carried. All the confusion. All the terrible thoughts. They melted into something else. Relief. Sadness. And love. I wrapped my arms around my daughter, holding her tightly. I thought you wanted me out of the way, I whispered. Leah shook her head fiercely. You are the heart of this family, Mum. Everything we did was for you. Daniel nodded. We're sorry. Truly. For a long moment, we all stayed there, together, in the small storage room, beside the safe that had caused so much fear and misunderstanding. But now it all made sense. The inheritance. The documents. The secrecy. The deadline. The whispers. It was all part of something meant to help me, not harm me. Later that afternoon, we sat together at the dining table as Leah and Daniel explained everything clearly. Aunt Miriam had left. A house abroad. A large savings account. A small business she owned. And a letter, meant for me. Leah brought out the letter last. My hands trembled as I opened it. Inside, in my sister's handwriting, were the words. Evelyn, I never stopped loving you. I want you to live well. Live happily. And forgive yourself for everything. This is my gift to you. Tears filled my eyes. For the first time in years. I felt her close to me again. I looked at Leah and Daniel. Thank you, I whispered. For protecting her gift. For protecting me. Even when I didn't understand. They both smiled, tired but relieved. Daniel said quietly. Your family. That's what we do. Just as the sun began to set, Leah said. Mum, there's one more surprise. I blinked. One more. She nodded excitedly and pulled me to the front door. When she opened it, I gasped. Outside was a small gathering of neighbors and close friends, all smiling, holding decorations, carrying food, standing beside a banner that read. Welcome to your new beginning. Leah squeezed my hand. Mum, we wanted to celebrate your new chapter. Your sister would have wanted that. I covered my mouth, overwhelmed. For the first time in a long time. I felt joy. Real joy. The kind that warms your heart and fills your chest like sunlight. I hugged my daughter again. And whispered. Thank you, for everything. Everything was revealed. Every misunderstanding cleared. Every secret explained. And a new beginning opened for Mrs. Evelyn Hart. A story that began with fear. Ended with healing, family, and a gift from someone long gone. Remember, to subscribe to this channel to support our growth.